What's important to you?
Important to me is number one is that program, you know, and God, you know.
God.
Yeah.
And do you still use the program, or you done with it?
I'm fully involved in it.
Really?
Yeah.
You work for them?
I don't. It's not. It's a non-profitable. It's just more like it's just like a program of like, it's just like people like me go to get back involved in the life, you know. And I went back and got involved in, you know, into this program, and you know, and it saved my life, you know. And they teach you, it gets you back in touch with God and a higher power, and it really helps you, you know, find out who you really are, you know.
Oh, I see. So when you say this program is important, you mean you still go to that program?
I still go to.
Not that you work there or volunteers there.
Correct.
It's just meetings that you meet up with.
Meetings.
What would happen if you stopped going?
Man, I think my head starts playing tricks on me. I start thinking that I could take a drink, or you know, it's like it's like a mind-altering thing in your head, and so like the disease. If I'm not checking in on these meetings, it's like no different than someone going to church and they go to service maybe once or twice or 3 times a week, and they go in there and you know, like you go and check in to service for an hour or to your church, and like you're amongst your people. You see your peers, and like it sort of lifts you up being around all the members of your church, and like you know, and you fellowship with them, you know, and then you got the speakers or sermons or you know, people up there talking, and they carry a message. You know, and that message is something you relate with and relate with, and you know, and.
But if you didn't do that,
I think if I didn't do that and didn't have no common bond with the people around me, I think that even if I wouldn't take a drink, hit or fix, I think that my mind starts telling me things about me that are untrue, and I start believing them.
Do you believe that it's possible to overcome it completely and never need any outside person to help you in any way? Do you believe that's possible?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is it is possible. But like for people like me, a raw alcoholic, like I think that if you were to do something like that, it makes you live a miserable life, emotionally. You know.
If what?
If you're not plugged into like the one thing that saved you, like saying that something like this program saved my life, it saved me. It really it brought me back into society. And to think that it'd be like getting a gift, you know, and not being able to repay back nothing, you know, and I think that's really selfish.
Do you have like a sponsor too that you have to call up?
Oh, absolutely.
And you call them up every day?
And I talk to them. I send messages every day, but I don't call them every day. I think.
What do you? Go ahead.
I think it's like raising kids and stuff like that. I think, you know, like in your first beginning years of toddler years, you know, right. Your infant and toddler, like you really need that sponsor with you for decision making and talking to, and for the emotional roller coaster that you're going to go on in life. And I think as you get into like this more teenager year and stuff like that, or you know, that pre-adolescent and then in the teenager years, I think as time goes by and the more time you get in the program of staying sober, and you get these experiences of life, because what it is like what happens is these experiences of life I go through, and you know, and I get to go through and get these emotions and stuff like that, and being able to how to deal with them, you know. And I didn't know how to deal with, you know, anger or any frustration or, you know, or any of this stuff. And I called my sponsor, and he talked me through all that stuff. And so I think.
So when you text him now, call him now, what do you say? Hey, good morning, I'm about to get high, or I don't want to get high. But
man, I don't talk nothing about getting high or wanting to get high. We just have normal conversations like, how you doing?
Oh, I see.
What are you doing, man? Are you helping anybody? You going to meetings? Checks in to make sure the program's on tact, you know? Oh, like, you know, because you can tell a lot by a person, not by what they're saying, but what they're doing. So more or less, he wants to know what I'm doing.
I can.
You know?
If you didn't have a sponsor to contact, would you be tempted to get back on drugs and stuff?
Yeah. My behaviors would probably be a lot worse, you know, which might lead me to drink or use.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
And when you say your behavior, what do you mean?
I mean, like your addict and alcoholic personality of like being a dick or being unkind, like not taking the shopping cart back at the grocery store. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this here. You know.
I don't take grocery store back.
You don't. Oh man, that's the difference between a good person, man. It's a good person right there. They just take the cart and they put it back over there in the thing.
We had a long discussion about that.
Yeah.
You park in what?
Like I park right now. I park close to where you return your shopping cart, just so I return my shopping cart.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, the reason I don't do it is
because you order food online. You don't even go to the store now.
No, when I go, I used to work for a supermarket. I started out as a box boy and all that, and they pay people to do that, to go out there and get those carts and bring it back in. Mm-hmm. But if the customers do it, then the customer is doing the job of the boss boy, and so now you put him out of work.
That's true.
And so
That's true.
The store makes you come in, buy the food, bag the food, and then take the food to your car and return the cart back to the shop. And so they are tricking the folks, and they're still charging you high prices.
They still are.
What do you think about that?
Oh man, that's
you're doing the job of a man that could have a job if you didn't do it for him.
Yeah, that's true. But I still think that it's something like that. They don't have those. I think that you ever opened a car, you ever been and parked somewhere and someone had their carts next to you and you ding it with your door and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Or you go to park your car, like you've been waiting all this time to park a car and like, oh man, you see a spot and you go to park and there's a shopping cart left inside there.
Right.
You know, and I think that doing the due diligence of just putting the cart back, I think it is a guy who works there to go out there and to grab the cart, not necessarily to collect them all, but to grab the cart from inside those cages what they built to put those carts in, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't it? You know?
So listen, you said God is important to you.
God is very important to me.
And what do you mean by that? How do you know God is important to you?
Well, I just know that it seems like a lot throughout my life and everything I did and everything I was doing put me further and further away from God. And so like as you start doing stuff of anger and hate and and then in and out of prison and then the street lifestyle and all this stuff like stealing, robbing, doing manipulation and all this stuff like it, I don't think that God was more than likely present and looking after me through my addiction. But it wasn't until I came to this program and I sort of cleared enough of me out of the way that God, I was able to to really put my belief into God. They say that I found my God in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and by doing the work, and like that means just like a temptation comes through as I was with a group of people, or if I was by myself and I went to a bar that I was able to say no to that first drink, hit or fix.
So if God is important to you, God is in your life, why do you need a sponsor, physical sponsor, and why do you call yourself an addict?
I think I need a sponsor just to guide me on life.
You don't think God can do that?
I do think God can do that in a way.
So why not trust Him to do it?
Well, because I think a sponsor has more of an experience of situations that I'm going through, and as a sponsor, he pushes, do you believe in God? And we talk about, do our will, like do we put our trust and faith in our will and life in the care of God,
Oh, okay.
And in which we do. Then we always say like, what's the problem? And the problem relies in my head. It's that message in my head that I'm telling myself I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I can't do it. And I can be praying to God, but I think that sponsor keeps me in the action.
Oh, okay.
To keep me going.
And this sponsor, is he ex-addict as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so he has a sponsor too?
Absolutely, yep.
So you call him, but he calls somebody else his sponsor?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Each one teach one. Each one, everybody's just, each one teach one all the way down this line,
That's amazing.